Hello everyone, good evening. You're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubrali, bringing you today's latest top stories of Canada. The air quality in Toronto is currently ranked among the worst in the world, on top of a multi-day heat wave that's gripping the city on Monday. According to IQ Air, which tracks air quality data from across the globe, Toronto is the 30th most polluted city at time of writing. Meanwhile, Environment Canada's Air Quality Health Index lists the air in Toronto as a level 5 or moderate risk. The National Weather Agency had warned that the hot and humid air brought on by the heat wave could produce a deteriorating air quality, and meteorologist Geoff Coulson says that's what we are seeing here. Coulson explained that because the hot air is impeded from rising, pollutants are trapped in the lower levels of the atmosphere and affect air quality. He said while it's unlikely wildfire smoke from Quebec and northern Ontario are having an impact on air quality right now, that could change later this week. Under level 5 IQHI, the general population does not need to modify usual outdoor activities unless they experience symptoms such as coughing or throat irritation. Those among the at-the-risk population, such as seniors, pregnant women, and infants, should consider reducing or rescheduling strenuous activities outdoors if experiencing symptoms. Toronto is currently under yellow level heat warning with temperatures above 30 Celsius until Friday. Tuesday will be the hottest day with a high of 37 Celsius, which will feel like 45 with the humidex. Funeral arrangements have been announced for a Durham police recruit killed early last week in a collision. On July 7, Durham Regional Police Service DRPS Constable in Training Taran Magbetang was driving a sedan that was involved in a collision with a transport truck. Police said he and an unnamed passenger were traveling to the Ontario Police College near Aylmer, Ontario for training at the time of the crash. Magbetang, who was 27, died at the scene. The other person in the vehicle was critically injured. A private funeral for Magbetang has been organized for Friday. The location and time have not been publicly disclosed. Police say the service only will be open for family members, friends, and members of the first responder community, adding that this is being done out of respect for the wishes of the Magbetang family and the privacy of all those grieving this tragic loss. Those wishing to pay tribute to Magbetang are being invited to sign an online book of condolences. Police in Durham region are looking for a suspect who allegedly scammed a senior out of tens of thousands of dollars. Investigators believe there may be additional victims. In May, police said they received a report that a 78-year-old victim paid the suspect $33,000 for landscaping and repair work, but the work was never completed. They said the suspect befriended the victim over a period of a month before the scam was carried out. Investigators believe the suspect specifically targets vulnerable and older individuals through a variety of fraudulent schemes, police said in a news release issued Monday. The suspect has been identified as 40-year-old Clarington, Ontario resident Christopher Alexander Graham. He is wanted on charges of fraud over $5,000 and possessed property obtained by crime over $5,000. Graham is also wanted on charges related to allegedly breaching his probation. Durham Region Police say the accused was ordered to not seek or accept payment for any work until it was completed as part of his release conditions. He is wanted by 5 other police services in Ontario for fraud-related charges, according to Durham Region Police. Police are asking anyone with information about the incident or Graham's whereabouts to contact them at 1-888-579-1520, extension 1605, or Crime Stoppers anonymously. BMW is expanding a vehicle recall over an engine starter fire risk. The latest recall covers more than 26,000 cars and SUVs that were sold in Canada between 2021 and 2026. According to the Canadian Recall Notice, engine starters on certain vehicles may not have been manufactured properly and could overheat. A starter that overheats can create the risk of a fire, the recall notice posted by Transport Canada warns. To reduce the safety risk, BMW recommends not using the remote start function and not leaving the vehicle unattended with the engine running until the recall repairs have been completed. BMW says it will notify impacted owners by the mail and advise them to take their vehicle to a dealership for an engine starter replacement. Affected vehicles and model years include BMW's 2 Series 23 to 25, 3 Series 23 to 24, 4 Series 23 to 24, 5 Series 23, X3 21 to 24, X4 21 to 25, Z4 20 to 26. In Canada, 26,247 cars and SUVs are affected. The engine starter recall is an expansion of a recall from earlier this year that impacted nearly 7,000 BMW vehicles in Canada. A similar engine starter recall in the US impacted more than 87,000 BMW vehicles. Last October, BMW also recalled nearly 15,000 additional vehicles because earlier engine starter repairs were not effective. Ontario's tap for locking up tens of millions of dollars worth of U.S. alcohol in response to President Donald Trump's trade war has hit $8 million, and the province says it has no plans to put those bottles back on the shelves without some kind of resolution. The Liquor Control Board of Ontario LCBO told Awaz News that based on an audit in May, most 97% of U.S. product it has in storage remains in good condition and within its normal shelf life more than a year after it was removed. However, at least $2.6 million worth of the banned booze had spoiled by the end of March. U.S. alcohol, including spirits, wine, cider, beer, ready-to-drink coolers, and cocktails, as well as non-alcoholic beverages, were stripped from LCBO shelves in March 2025 in retaliation for Trump's trade dispute. Not only were products pulled from brick-and-mortar stores across the province, but wholesale customers like bars, restaurants, grocery, and convenience stores were also barred from purchasing alcoholic exports from the south of the border. Before the ban, U.S. alcohol sales in Ontario totaled $965 million annually, according to the LCBO. It previously listed more than 3,600 products from 35 U.S. states. Last week, Republican Congresswoman for New York said she would introduce a bill to compel the U.S. Trade Representative to conduct an investigation into Canadian provinces that are not purchasing its alcohol, while provinces like Saskatchewan and Alberta have reversed their respective American booze bans. Ontario and Quebec have not. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who has been adamant that the ban will remain in place until the trade war is over, reacted to the news by pointing the finger back at the U.S. administration. "We won't back down. The fastest and only way to get U.S. alcohol back on Ontario shelves is for the U.S. troops to drop its illegal tariffs on Canada." Police have identified 2 people who were killed during a brazen shoot at Toronto Street Festival over the weekend that left thousands of attendees scrambling to get to safety. Shakwan Kwashi, 25, and Cesar Vanarza, 20, were both shot at 2 groups exchanged gunfire during the Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival on Saturday night. One of them was pronounced dead on the scene, while the other succumbed to the injuries in hospital. 5 other people were also hit by the gunfire and taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. At a news conference on Monday, Police Chief Martin Demkiw confirmed that Kwashe and Bernaza were targeted and the other victims were bystanders merely caught in the gunfire. Demkiw said that the deceased individuals were known to one another but didn't elaborate on the nature of their relationships. Shootings are down in the city over 26% compared to the same time last year, but when a brazen shooting occurs in a public setting like what happened this weekend, it understandably shakes a sense of safety and security that Torontonians understandably expect and deserve, Demkiw said. Saturday night's shooting occurred at around 8 p.m. on St. Clair Avenue near Arlington Avenue. Of the thousands of Torontonians took in the annual salsa on St. Clair Festival. However, they clarified the news conference later that night that those initial reports were incorrect. DMQ said that 2 firearms were ultimately recovered from the scene following the shooting. At this point, no arrests have been made, and DMQ said the police have set up an online portal for members of the public to upload any images or footage from the neighborhood that could be relevant to the ongoing investigation. Saturday's shooting at one of the Toronto's most popular summer festivals has raised questions about whether additional security measures are needed, with Councillor George Matlow telling News Talk 1010 earlier in the day that he has heard from some members of the neighborhood who want Salsa on St. Clair relocated to a park or perhaps shut down earlier in the night. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow, however, released a video message earlier on Monday in which she said that we cannot let reckless criminals stop Toronto's traditions of outdoor street festivals. The festival was attended by an estimated 13,000 people and subsequently cancelled as the investigation got underway.
Thank you for watching Awaz News. This is Kubra Ali. I'll see you tomorrow again. Have a wonderful evening.